Hello, I'm Flavin. I'm at the Keighley and Worth Valley Railway.
Came to ride the railway, but we found a brass band playing on Oxenhope Station, and I met a particularly interesting gentleman called Chris Lawson. Now, Chris owns the saloon carriage that was used in the Railway Children as the old gentleman's carriage or saloon. Chris travels on these trains in the saloon as the old gentleman on the days when the carriage is running. You can just see him here in the background.
Oxenhope Station, and we're about to go on one of the vintage trains. Although initially at the moment what you can see coming towards me is a diesel, but with a steam loco in front of it, and they're double heading because they are vintage carriages on this.
The Keighley and Worth Valley Railway is local to where we live, or relatively local, and it's an old favourite. And I have never ever ceased to be impressed by how beautifully well maintained it is, and what a fascinating and interesting visit it is to make. Oakworth Station, which is where the Railway Children was filmed, is always good fun to pull into because there's always somebody on the station doing Bernard Cribbin's job of shouting, "Oakworth!" Everything is immaculate, beautifully presented, interesting, and frankly, there's always something going on. The countryside is stunning that you go through. And as I say, there's often interesting things going on. For instance, they regularly run fish and chip trains and Prosecco afternoon teas. And as a family, we've been on the Santa train and the Elf Express for probably 15 or more years. And on this occasion, there was a brass band playing on Oxenhope Station.
Hello, I'm Flavin, and this gentleman is Chris Lawson, who is the owner of
the Old Gentleman's Saloon from the Railway Children film.
That is absolutely amazing. I'm really pleased to have met you, actually. Thank you.
That's very kind of you.
I started to speak to Chris about what the locomotive was, and he just told us something interesting about that, so perhaps you could tell us again.
Okay, it's an 060 freight locomotive, and it was built originally for the Lancashire and Yorkshire Railway, and is probably best known now as the Green Dragon in the Railway Children film in which it featured.
That is absolutely fantastic.
It's been repainted twice since then, of course, because you've seen it today in black BR livery, and in between times it was back in full Lancashire and Yorkshire livery for about 2 years.
Right. So how did you end up with the carriage?
That's a very long story and probably longer than your video.
But did you have to renovate it?
No, it was bought by a gentleman called John Dawson from British Railways in 1969 and brought to the railway where it featured in the Railway Children film in 1970.
Right.
It was to go to the Stockton and Darlington 150th anniversary celebrations in 1975, and John, being a pensioner, was looking for people to put some money in to help restore, well, not restore, but to carry out some essential repairs, and also to repaint it, because in the Railway Children film it had actually been painted teak. It was not stripped and varnished as it is now.
Oh, right.
It was in British Railways typical red, and they just painted over it for the film. So that had to be stripped down so that it could be revarnished and relined and lettered. So I put some money in along with another chap, and over the years I managed to buy them out, and in must have been about 1989, I became the sole owner. But the saloon is still known, as well as the Old Gentleman's Saloon, as John Dawson's Saloon on the railway here, and until his death in the late 1990s, I kept a very low profile and left it all to John. Since then, I've had to take full responsibility, which I now do.
But look at the amazing kit that you're wearing. That looks absolutely wonderful.
Well,
Thank you.
I have to be the old gentleman, don't I?
Of course you do.
My top hat, however, I'm afraid is left in the carriage, and I haven't got it with me, so I can't give you the full
Oh, well,
works.
never mind. Anyway, look, thank you so much for that. That was really interesting.
That's fine.
Thank you.
My privilege. Thank you very much.
You can see from my face, I thoroughly enjoyed every minute of it. I assume our dog Freddie liked it as well. Basically, he just lay down on the floor and slept all the way. And my husband, David, and his friend Martin enjoyed themselves, actually, more than it looks like on that picture.
Well, we've had a very, very enjoyable ride. We've been up to Keighley and back, taking some pictures of various stations as we've gone. The band has been playing. Loco's ready to leave. It's been really, really, really nice day. Now we're going for a sandwich and a cup of coffee.
If you've enjoyed this, please like it, share it, and give it a thumbs up.